Well, today we're back out here on the property, all the way at the back of the property. And so what we're going to start doing, we're going to start turning this into some better wildlife habitat. If you'll remember in the previous video on this, we kind of just planned out and kind of scoped out the area here, and we need to start knocking down some trees, opening this up, getting some sunlight down to the ground, do some hinge cutting, create some cover, and after I do that, probably in a couple months before spring, come in here and do a little bit of controlled burning and get rid of this leaf litter, and hopefully get some good sunlight to the ground and just create a lot of good growth, get stuff to regenerate again, and give these deer some food, some groceries. They need some good groceries out here, because it's just pretty much closed canopy right now. I got a pretty good bit to work with here. That slope right there that you're looking at, that's a south facing slope. And I have found out, of course, deer lay anywhere there's cover really, but they like, on a cold winter day, they like to sit right there, lay down right there on where they can get sunshine. And they can, they can see off down in there too. So we're going to try to knock down some of these trees, open it up. I don't think it'll take a whole lot, but you'll be surprised what this canopy will do when the leaves start putting on. It'll just cover this up. I mean, you look at it now, looks like, man, that's a lot of open area, a lot of sun's getting through. You just wait till those leaves get on there, and everything starts branching out and leafing out, and it covers the ground. It's a closed canopy, so there's nothing in here by way of cover, and deer go somewhere else. They usually just roam through here at night, and they'll go out there to the food plot. And it's really not a food plot, it's just a field right now, but I won't be turning that into a food plot later on this year. I think I mentioned something about that in the previous video. But yeah, we got a long way to work that way. Along this is slope. This is a north facing slope over here, and create some good cover in there and has some regen to come back. And deer will be in there. They'll come in there, and just do that on down through there. And over here on the other side, I'm not gonna go as far down this side. You can see where my mule is. I'm kind of separating it out. This is a trail, so right side of that road, I'm gonna go down a little bit further. Left side, I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna go as far. But it's gonna be such in here that this end of the road is probably not gonna be very accessible, nor what I really want it to be. If I'm gonna create this for wildlife, I don't want a road going right down the middle of it. But we'll see how it goes. It's kind of a work in progress. And so I'm gonna get started here and see what I can get done in the next hour or two. And we'll take a look at it and see the progress. Stay tuned. All right, it's a few days later since I've been doing some cutting in here. Just want to kind of show you where I'm at. It's definitely opening up in here. Right down, you can see a few trees down right here. This is pretty much the line where I'm going to stop. So this will be all open woods, and up there will be the field and the food plot. And I have my deer blind back over there, and I'm probably going to put a ladder stand right here close to the edge of what I hope will eventually be a lot of good bedding areas and food for the deer and a place where they want to come to hang out and stay around for a while instead of going to the neighbor's property all the time. Still have a long way to go, but I've put a pretty good dent in it. You can see several trees down here. Look how open that is now. I mean, like I said, I still got some more I'm gonna cut down in here, and it goes on back in there a little bit. So I'm going to kind of turn that bend right there on that slope. So again, this is a south facing slope, and it kind of turns back and faces southwest. But this is a good spot. At least that's my hope. I can guarantee you, once this starts growing up, and I'm also going to burn it in here, and once some good growth starts coming back, and deer being here, that's a guarantee. There's no way they couldn't be in here. So this is a pretty good, maybe I would say a half acre in here that I've done. Now it's going to go back over here too, and the slope goes down the north side. So I'm doing some over there, and that's going to extend. Like I said, this is about the cutoff point, but on the other side, you can see my mule sitting right over there. On the other side of that, I'm going to extend that on down a little bit further, almost to the field. Not quite though. So there will be a couple acres at least. And I've got a lot of other areas too on this property I can improve, hopefully. But anyway, you can see it's ugly, isn't it? Yeah, that's one thing it is. It's ugly to see all those trees down like that. I love beautiful woods. Nothing like summer day with you have all the, you know, leaf canopy in, and you can just see under there, and it's just so pretty. Big trees. But you got to figure out what you want, and that doesn't provide cover or food for deer, or very little. And you know, 30 years ago when I first started hunting as a boy and as a teenager, I've been hunting all my life, and I hunted down in Mississippi a whole lot. And I mean, we knew a long time ago that deer like to hang out in thick stuff. That's where they bed down. And I always usually set up my stand on the edge of thickets, like on the border of a thicket and open hardwoods, and you'll see them. They'll step out of that thicket and walk down that thicket line and out into the woods a little bit, and they'll pop right back in. Seen a lot of deer do that. Of course, that's just their nature. That's what they do. God made them that way. You know, a long time ago, I mean, this business right here, I mean, you can find thousands of YouTube videos on how to improve your property. And I've watched a lot of those and certainly learned a lot. But I know a long time ago, we were, you know, 30 plus years ago, before it was cool to do all this. I mean, the only type of food plot we had was during the fall. We'd plant some ryegrass or something like that. And we may knock down a little bit of a clearing and get some shooting lanes next to a thicket. And hey, killed a lot of deer like that. Down in the creek bottoms and stuff where it gets thick. But I mean, this is a 365 day a year deal now with people. Now, I'm not that fanatic about it, but I do love to hunt, and I need to improve my property if I'm going to have a better chance of getting deer to hang out. And yeah, so that's the plan. Like I said, I still have some more to go. It's a work in progress. So over the next couple of weeks, 2, 3, 4 weeks, and get this all done. Hopefully get a fire in here and burn out all this leaf litter. And And yeah, hopefully this spring it'll start popping with green. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how it goes. Sometimes it fails. Plans fail sometime, but there's no doubt in my mind this is going to create some improvement. It has to, especially this south-facing slope gets lots of sunshine. It's getting opened up. And once I get all this burned off, can't help but respond. All right, we'll check in again later. That rub right there is not that old. I'd say less than a couple of weeks old. But I figured all the bucks have dropped their antlers by now. So that wasn't made within the last few days, I wouldn't think. But it's fairly new. I know one thing, it wasn't there since I've done all this cutting out through here. And you can see it's an ugly mess, but I got a lot of that canopy gone there. Probably need to do a little bit more. So I know once those leaves get on the trees, be surprised how much sunlight it knocks out. So I'll probably knock down some of these more. Done several hinge cuttings. Hopefully those trees will stay alive. Actually, I see another rub right over there. I don't know how old that one is either. Could have been made by the same deer. So I initially cut it about 3 weeks ago. Yeah, that one's a little bit older there. So, but that other one over there is definitely a lot fresher. You can see here what's going on. And the same thing goes, you kind of go over the ridge there just a little bit. I've got all that cut down through there, opened up. So what I'm hoping to do is probably over towards the middle to the end of March, on a good dry warm day, is burn it out in here and get all this leaf litter gone. And hopefully I opened it up enough to get some good sunlight in here and get some growth on the floor. That's the plan anyway. Alright, show you what I got going on here. So this right here was the original trail down through here where I just got through hinge cutting those trees across, and you can see my mule right there. Well, reason I blocked that off is because right here is the property boundary. You can see that orange paint there. There's some orange tape over there. There. So, and somebody has a ladder stand over there about 30-40 yards in the woods. If that far. Well, I see it. It's right over there. Probably about 40 yards from where I'm standing. So really about 30 yards from the property stand, there's a ladder stand. I mean the property boundary right here, where that orange paint is. Then there's a ladder stand over there, another 35 yards or so. So over here, I'm trying to create a little buffer zone between the property boundary and where I'm doing all this cutting at. So I don't want somebody, if somebody has a stand over here, I don't want them looking right straight down this road here. So I'm going to keep a road here though, but it's going to have a kink in it. It's going to come right through here. And just kind of curve back right here. It'll come back out right here. So I'm hoping these hinge cuts will stay alive, at least for a while. and they'll sprout up and really block this off in here. I'm going to do a little bit more in here too, try to block it off, but there's a lot of little trees in here. A few big ones, not very big though. Most of them are just saplings. So I'm going to create a food plot right in here. And I'm going to start it right up in here though. I'm not going to start it all the way back here. Kind of makes me nervous though. If somebody's sitting in a stand over there. Well, I'm hoping I can get some good growth on those. And I'm going to cut a few more here down, let them, and hopefully enough of those down. Some of them, at least some of them will live. And at least create some growth right up in here. And if I need to get in here on a trail, I can just kind of wind around like that. But start the food plot somewhere right in here. I'm gonna probably about 30 yards wide in here, and then just kind of make it long. We'll come on out here. And it's going to go, if you see where that cedar tree is right there, so maybe just about 10 yards past that, right in here. So maybe a little bit longer, than that. I'm about 50 yards right there from where I'm going to start. So you can see a tree down right over there. Probably go about to that point. Just kind of make this a little food plot in here, and hopefully create this good bedding area. Deer are already in here. There are tracks around. I've found a couple of places where they've bedded down. So that is a very good sign of things to come. At least that's my hope. And you know, if you could stick a stand right back up in there a little bit, looking down this food plot here. And also you can look and don't want it too close to the bedding area. If not, you'll be jumping deer. So on back in there a little bit, cut a couple shooting lanes. You can see down this food plot right here. And you can see off in this bedding area if you see a deer stand up or moving around in there. And also the bedding area that I've started creating over here. I don't know how much more I'm going to do on that. That's a north-facing slope. Whereas this one over here is a south-facing slope. I didn't see anything looks like it's been bedding down over there. But there's definitely 2 or 3 bedding areas. There's tracks in there. So these deer like to travel this ridge. I mean, it goes way back over there on the neighbor's property. They travel this ridge in here, and they'll go all the way up there to that field, which I'm going to turn into a food plot too. That's way on over there, a couple hundred yards. And then they just travel this, and this ridge just keeps on going. And then it drops down pretty steep on the western side slope down over there, and it goes down into a little ditch area onto the neighbor's property. Now the neighbor has done a lot of clearing over there in his woods, I think a couple years ago, and I think that's going to be good for me. If I can really get the food plots established, I'm hoping those deer, if they bed down over there on the neighbor's property and they get ready to eat, they'll know these food plots are up here, and that's where they'll head. Hey, that's the plan anyway. Sounds pretty good in my head. And we'll see come hunting season. Now, this is a work in progress. It takes a few years to get things going. But I know once you start creating good bedding, thick areas for deer to take cover, and you get some food for them, it won't take long. Because right now it's, I don't know if it's a deer desert, but there's definitely deer in here. But I need to get them over here where they want to stay a whole lot more, instead of just traveling through at night. All right, let's get back after it.